Well, let's get to the first of our 6 gold medal matches, shall we? In the barebow division, it's Diane Cochran against Sarah Gebhardt. Sarah, and this is a wonderful...
Compound.
I've done it again. I tell you what, thank you. I'm glad you're here. Let's Alexis Ruiz against Sachiko Keane, and we'll bring those out into the middle. These are, well, certainly Alexis, you know very, very well, and certainly at this stage, you know very, very well. And Sachiko is a bronze medal winner at USAT at Arizona Cup a couple of years ago. Alexis is very, very familiar, not just to USAT gold medal matches, international gold medal matches, but this one in particular. How much of a transition is it to step onto this stage?
You know, it's drastically different than shooting the matches earlier today. And this is one of those things where you never know how it's going to go until you're out there. And Alexis, obviously having, as you said, so much experience, she knows what to expect. She knows what it feels like. She's very familiar with this. This could be Sachi's first final, right? Because the bronze doesn't shoot out here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a whole new experience for her. It can be intimidating, but truly when you're out there, it goes so fast that a lot of the times you don't even have time to worry or think about a whole lot. It's just like you blink and it's over.
And I know you've been on the biggest of stages many, many times. Is there a technique? Is there a way to settle down? You know, thinking back to early on in your career, was there something that you looked to try and implement, to try and settle those nerves early on?
You know, I honestly just tried to not look at all of the things and all the people and think about where we are and what we're doing. So it was a 9 for Alexis for her first arrow there. Stay in the zone, because it didn't change. It's still you, your bow, the target's still 50 meters away. And so, you know, if you get really wrapped up in all that other stuff, it can make it a lot harder than it needs to be. That's easier said than done, though. Let's be honest. Looks like a 10. They haven't called it yet, but...
There you go.
10 for Alexis. So with compound here, we're scoring points to points. There's no set points. There's none of that. So it's just cumulative raw score over the 15 arrows. So every arrow matters equally the same. We're going to have 5 ends with 3 arrows per end, so 15 total arrows. And whoever has the highest cumulative score is going to walk away our SoCal champion. So, you know, what's hard is there's no throwaway ends. Like, we're going to see matches later with set points. Like, for them, every arrow matters.
And Mel in her corner, behind, of course, both from Arizona.
She actually looks really solid. Hope the wind's picking up there.
Oh, I could hear it with that tent overhead that just rattled.
You could see it on the front of her stabilizer as it hit the bow. An 8 there. Yeah, that's tough. One of the hardest things about a finals venue is you can't let down. So in normal, we have 2 minutes for 3 arrows. So if you were stuck in that situation, you would let down, wait the wind out, and then redraw. In that situation, there's a lot of luck that kind of goes into it on who's at full draw when the wind gust hits and who's not. And unfortunately, that was just, you know, bad luck right there. They only have 20 seconds to shoot their arrows.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of time.
A graduate from Columbia University is Sachiko 2023. That's Derek Davis behind, of course. Been with Columbia many, many years and seen many archers come through his program. She is now a research associate at NYU, but does have 3 JOAD titles, also 3 world records, 2 individual and 1 team, World University Games, and as we mentioned earlier, took bronze a couple of years back in Arizona. This is her first time on this stage. Alexis, of course, a winner here, not just USAT events, but a winner here in 2021 and 2023, I believe.
I think those were both against me.
I believe it got I was letting you mention
Hey, I finally got her last year, okay? That's hilarious.
And a bronze medal winner here in 2022.
So Sachi shot incredible today. And one thing else, she actually took me out in, I think it was the quarters. And to give her credit, one thing I thought was really great about her shooting today in particular, it'd be relatively calm, and then the wind would pick up, and naturally we would start to miss a few arrows, and she was tightening up as the wind picked up, which I was really, really impressed with. You obviously don't see that often, and it landed her all the way to the gold medal match. I mean, she rocked it all through today.
2-point difference after that first end, 29-27. XO for Sachiko.
It's a bit of a longer hold for Alexis. She's normally a pretty quick shooter.
And just so people know, we are only about 10 feet away from the back of Alexis, so that's why we're taking our voice down a little bit.
I know from past experiences, I could hear you guys every day.
Oh, we're gonna just take it down a notch or two. Seems like she's got into a stride.
Yeah.
And you'll see archers that will come through. There might be 12th seed or 15th seed, or in the case of Wade coming up shortly, 9th seed. Sometimes archers just have that week. They just find their form, and as someone like yourself who is expected, and I'm sure your expectations are very high, you expect to be in the mix at the end. When you see an archer like that coming through, and you think, whoa, what's clicking for them?
We all have those days. Some days they click and some days it just doesn't. Man, there's days, and I can say it personally, where it's like you shoot a shot and you just feel like you can't go wrong. You can do anything and they're going to hit the 10 ring. And those are the best days. And honestly, I think if all of us knew exactly what it was, we'd be doing it all the time, right? But honestly, Sachi really did have one of those days. Like, I got to watch her shoot a lot of the day, got to shoot against her myself. I watched their match after I was out. And she shot incredibly strong. I've shot with her for years.
Mm-hmm.
But man, she was solid all day. In clutch moments, arrows that she needed to hit, she did it. It was a really, really impressive day. And she absolutely deserves to be standing here right now.
And you're here for the next day or so. You've got trials completed tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think all of us are in those trials.
So these are for the World Championship, which takes place in Korea later in the year. Where are you sat at the moment? You sitting pretty up at the top? You comfortable?
I'm like 2 points back.
Okay.
So not too great. I've missed the bonus point each day that I needed.
Right.
So there's the difference. But tomorrow it's 210 scoring arrows. We score 70 ends. It is the longest day you're ever going to have behind a bow. And so it's brutal. It's a game of not just physical, but mental, trying to keep
because
it
I
together.
was just about to say, you've had two stages. You had stage one, which was just before SoCal Showdown. Stage two was part of qualification. I was going to say, you've had the marathon. Tomorrow's a bit of a sprint with the round robins, but you're telling me it's a marathon in itself.
Also a marathon, the most marathon. No, it really is. And for both these girls, I mean, this is a really big confidence booster for them going into that. Alexis is sitting very, very well for the trials. So I think that's really good.
Close the gap to just a point, 57-56. 9 to start.
I think she looks really solid, though. I mean, for this being her first time out there, I think she's handling the pressure incredible. And that's a good shot, yeah. 10. Alexis, a lot of times you can tell where her arrows will go based off her shot timing. When she's got a good, quick, strong shot, they're typically good. Yeah, good shot. I'm sorry. They're getting quite a bit of left to right wind here. Probably enough to be moving their arrows, so they're going to have to be able to read that, as well as obviously not let the wind move them. A lot of people always think about the drift of the arrow, but the hardest part is keeping your body still enough to break the pin where you want and then reading the wind.
And this is always intrigues me because, again, if we're looking down the lane, you've got a windsock that's maybe not misbehaving as much as the flutterbands. So
yeah.
What are you gauging? What are you judging from?
I usually judge off the windsock more. The flutter banners make everything look worse than it is. So if you read off those, you're probably going to hold off a little too much.
So back to a 2-point game, 29-28 at the end of that third end. I know Alexis is always a big smile, but behind that smile is a very steely resolve, isn't there?
Yes, yeah. She is here to do a job, and she's focused, and she's ready. Like you said, she's done this enough times, too, that you kind of just find your zone, and you're kind of in your own little world up there. And then all of a sudden, you're like, it's over. It's crazy how fast it goes.
Yeah. Now, I do want to talk through your field nationals and the story you were telling me of the injury, because you had your knee strapped up. You had an injury. How long ago was it?
That was at Reading. Yeah, which is the first week of May.
Right.
And yeah, I tripped and cut my knee open or ripped my knee open, however you want to say that. Got 24 stitches, but I fell on target 5 of a 20 target day. So then I had to.
And this was day 1?
Yeah. So finished the shoot, got stitches that day, and then finished the tournament and ended up winning that. So that was pretty cool. But this is the first tournament I've got to come to where I'm like fully healed up and good to go.
Yeah. And if you ever have a gentle disposition, you might not want to go to Paige's social media where it's
I did, yeah.
in all its glory.
They actually took that down a lot. Like I posted some other stuff and they removed it.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's to come maybe with a
warning.
Yes.
That was a good shot. Good first lead there.
Well, 9.
A 9, so that just closes it to 1 point.
Alexis just needs to take a deep breath and find her stride. You can tell she's a little bit frustrated there, but
I mean, you're looking as an observer. When you're competing, do you see that body language, or are you too much focused?
no, I don't even look at them. I'm just focused on me. They actually are facing each other right now, which is interesting. That's not typically normal because Sachi's left-handed. But no, normally, like I promise you, they're not looking or noticing each other right now. They're way too focused on themselves.
You know, but S.
I will say, like watching Sachi shoot today, she's very. Oh, we got a clock malfunction here. I'll just let it run down, probably.
Clock used to be off today. You know what? My thoughts about something pick up again. You know,
She didn't like that.
Well, that's got it set up nicely for the 5th end.
Yeah, it's about to get really exciting. We got a tight score with 3 arrows to go. I was going to say, and Alexis is this way too, but Sachi just seemed very focused, like very in the zone. Not a lot of emotion from her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't really see if she's happy with the shot or sad with the shot. I couldn't tell you. Like Alexis, I've shot with for so many years, I can read her body language a lot better. Usually just, again, if the camera's on her, just like watching her facial reaction as the bow breaks, you kind of almost know if it's going in or not. But the wind out here, it's just tricky enough. You're in a final. You're doing everything you can to try to make the most perfect shots. And that little bit of wind here, and I will say this isn't a consistent wind. It's choppy. And choppy's tough when you're, have that little bit of edge when you're out here in the final. And so, I mean, the score's probably not what the two girls are looking for, but the final makes it tough. The wind here always makes it tough. So I think they're doing pretty good. It's exciting to see that tight score.
Tight score going down to this 5th and final end. Alexis will go first.
That's good, yeah.
And liner.
That was a good shot.
Loud noise you hit was literally a piece of paper hitting the microphone. That's all it was.
That was crazy.
Strong start from Alexis.
A long pull down to 5 seconds there. 4, 3. Impressive.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now down to 2 arrows each. Still nothing separating the pair. It's a 9, okay, maybe.
Yeah, just off.
Door's just been opened a little.
Those are the frustrating ones because it's still a good shot, but just not quite there.
Okay, more of the same, yeah.
1 arrow. Tied score. The wind just picked up a little bit more downrange. Arrow. 9.
9.
So 10 to win.
Huge moment for Sachiko Keane in her first USAT gold medal match. 10 will do it.
She did it.
And he's landed in the 10.
That's amazing.
Sachiko Keane, the first time on this stage, and a big hug from Derek Davis. She trailed much of the time throughout that match, the most being 2 points, stuck it out, and she has defeated Alexis Ruiz, the winner here.
This is going to be a really big moment for her. Like, this is something that she'll never forget. Her first USAT win, which is incredible, and to do it in a finals venue. It's going to be a big one for her. That's really impressive. And it's also really cool that obviously 10 to clinch it. Like, she had to put it in there to win, and she did. So
Congratulations.